that tendency to think that because you can make a very cutting rhetorical argument,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
somehow understand life better.
Yeah.
Um, I get the appeal, but like I don't, that's not the path for me. I'm not trying to create better arguments. There's a poem by Hafiz, Sufi poet, which I'll just sort of paraphrase of like, he goes around dropping keys for people who are in prison.
Mm.
Like that's what
Mm.
that, if
Mm.
we're talking prison, Plato's cave, locked up,
Mm.
and like if I aim at anything in this life, I hope to be someone who's able to do that at some point. It's just
Mm.
rather than having that rhetorical back and forth until one of us wins, having it be the dialogue, the dialogos
Yeah.
that you talk about. It's that same thing of like maybe something in our conversation will help somebody, I hope, or maybe I'll get to the point where something in our conversation can help somebody.
Yeah.
That's much more to it. But I think it's interesting. One of the things you said at the start of that was you were talking about the value of measurement and the sort of you talked about it in terms of like jealousy or sort of, and I just like that opened up this whole perspective for me of measurement and the sort of scientific experiment of hypothesis and experiment measurement and
Mm.
a
Mm.
conclusion and all of that, um as personal, because you can't there's no real way to measure jealousy
Mm.
in such that like, well, I'm on a scale, I'm 8 of 10, but you're 9 of 10,
Mm.
so therefore you're more jealous than me, and we
Mm.
can measure that, but when it comes to speak from my own relationship here, my own experience, my own relationship experience, of jealousy, like I know I have been in, nothing against my wife, nothing current. This is a long time ago. I have been in relationships where I have been very jealous, and I can feel how that feels subjectively in my body. And I can measure that. I can say, wow, this action that my girlfriend or my ex-girlfriend took is making me, on a scale of the jealousy I've experienced, I'm now at 12 of 10. I've never felt this jealous before. Wow, this is a lot. This must be a lot. Let me, and then try and like, why is this happening? I don't know. There has to be some kind of inquiry there. But that
Yeah.
measurement, that being that measuring of the subjective experience is, I think, a step towards rationality, is a step towards being present with it and experiencing it as it is instead of being taken over by it and sort of playing out the shadows of what this jealousy means and what it says about me and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
all of that is worth looking at, but not being caught up in. Like
Yeah.
you are the experiencer of all of these things, and you are trying your best to, in that Greek sense, be rational about them, have that conformity of knowing about all of them, and sort of develop your actions based on what these parts of ourselves reveal to us,
Mm.
much better than, well, you can't measure jealousy, so it's just you're just being emotional, you're just being dumb. Like, why don't you just realize that no one owns anybody and nobody owes you anything? It's like
Yeah.
technically true, but doesn't help with my broken heart or my anger
Yeah.
and my frustration.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
the only solution that offers me is to tell the jealous, angry, hurting parts of myself to shut the fuck up and sit down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how we know enough about raising kids now to know that if every time a kid asks you a question you say shut up, sit down, children should be seen and not heard, that doesn't result in educated adults. It doesn't result in valid members contributing to a healthy society. It
Mm.
results in a lot of problems in a problematic society over enough
Mm.
generations. So we can start building a better society by the way we respond to these younger parts in ourselves, where we take them seriously on their own terms, but we do not let them dictate to us what our next action will be. We allow them to give us their dispensation, Their whatever story it is that they're carrying, we don't block that, but
Mm.
we don't have that become the whole story.
Mm.
We hold the position of adult or of authority or rulership of that particular thing in the initial sense, the original sense of being a king or a ruler of like the servant leader. You are there to serve the people and to
Yeah.
sort of be the center point that helps make sense of the whole thing to grow the whole group together, as
Yeah.
opposed to like, well, I'm the king and you just do what I say,
Right.
which
Exactly.
is which is kind of which is again missing a mark there, I think.
Yeah.